Hey guys, quick disclaimer. I'm very tired. I'm running off very little sleep, but I wanted to wait till everybody went to bed before I recorded this because you probably wouldn't be able to hear me otherwise. So I wanted to do a quick video and kind of give you guys that have reached out to me my experience this weekend, leading up to, during, and after, it's been a lot of ups and downs the last couple of days, and wow, that's all I can say. Wow, that's all I can say about that. Surely most of you know who I am if you're watching this. I've never done a video before, but it would just be too much to write out, and frankly, I prefer watching rather than reading, so I figured that'd be the best way to do it. So I'll start off with finding out about the Trump rally. So when they announced that the rally was going to be in Tulsa, naturally, as a Trump supporter, my husband and I were like, it's an hour and a half away. Heck yeah, we're going. So, we had started plans, then it got switched to the Saturday. Luckily, we were still able to keep the arrangements. We had help of my family and some very good friends that live around Tulsa that were able to watch our littles, and we decided to bring our teens with us. Figured it'd be a good experience for them, to be able to see, not with the news shows, not with the media shows, but to actually be in the environment and see, the both sides, be able to see protesters and be able to understand that, that's what this country is founded on, and what a beautiful thing it is, really, that we're a country that you can protest peacefully, of course, naturally, and with a permit, but that you can protest something that you don't agree with, and that's awesome. I think that's totally awesome, and I try to teach my children, you respect that, right? Because you should always respect and expect respect in return. Realistically, we all know that's not the way it actually goes, unfortunately, but anyways, that's a tangent. So we've booked a hotel. We got pretty close to the rally. For most of you that know me, I'm pretty sure I haven't slept in like 5 years anyways, but I was not really too excited about sleeping outside. I wasn't sure what to expect. I had never been to a rally before of any sort, really. The best I can relate to what I was expecting was kind of, for my generation that still remembers before the internet, when you would actually have to camp out in front of Ticketmaster for your favorite concert tickets, or, So that's kind of what I was thinking it would be. And for the most part it was, but, leading up to us leaving and just kind of hearing on the news, all the rumors of, there was going to be all these riots, and, people were terrified for their lives, and, all the agenda speak. I'll admit I was getting kind of nervous there, and I'm not very outspoken politically on social media, as most of you know. It's social media, it's Facebook, it's not real life, so I tend to usually stick to pictures of my kids and my creations, and leave it at that, but I think what I'm realizing now is that I did that not so much to stay out of confrontation, but more out of fear. Um, I did that because I was afraid that some people that I cared about very much and loved, and I know, had different political views than I did. Honestly, I did want to lose that friendship with them. I didn't want them to treat me any differently because I enjoy those people. I guess I didn't want to offend anyone. And, you know, the more I think about that, it's kind of screwed up, actually, that I was so worried about coming out of the Trump closet, I guess you could say, that I was going to lose all these people. And a lot of you guys, not all, but a lot of you guys have been incredibly supportive and so kind and really have just, you guys have been awesome. But we'll get to that in a second. So, anyways, okay. So we left on Thursday night, got to our hotel, and Friday morning we went and set up our tent. We were pretty close in line. It was pretty awesome. We got there were a few people camping out, and then Governor Stitt had put out a curfew, so it moved the line back. They started putting up the barricades and stuff. We set up shop, and I met some of the most amazing people. Actually, our first morning there, I met Bert and Londi, and I love you girls. You guys are amazing, and wow, just wow, you guys are awesome. But anyways, that's beside the point. So we kind of, we formed our little group of friends. We set up shop together. We sat together. We, really created a special bond with one another. In the beginning of the day, there were a lot of reporters walking around. And jokingly, when we went there, my goal, of course, because, I like to make things awkward as possible, just because I'm an awkward person. I told my kids and I told all my friends that knew that I was going that my goal was to be interviewed by as many people as I could possibly get interviewed by. And I'm thinking, it's going to be easy because I don't look like your traditional conservative Trump supporter. Actually, I met a few people that told me that when they first saw me and my husband walking in, they were kind of like, "Oh crap, are we about to have some trouble with them?" Because they just kind of assumed because of the way we looked that we were part of a different party, which I totally understand. I guess the majority of people that look like I do are, which is awesome. That's their belief system and that's their right, and good for them. I think that's awesome. So that being said, we set up shop and I didn't really have to look for much. They came to me. I was interviewed by a ton of news stations, and one in particular that I want to talk about is CNN. The reason I want to talk about that one is because, I had mentioned before that I was kind of nervous because, I was in the closet Trumper, and which is silly. I know you're probably thinking, well, then why the hell did you think that? Why did you want to get interviewed? Well, honestly, I'm thinking, okay, most of these interviews are probably going to go in newspapers, local newspapers or local channels, and people probably aren't going to see them. Well, that was not true. That's not what happened. Actually, the quite opposite happened. I got interviewed for CNN by Jeremy Moorhead, and I have to say that guy was awesome. He was outstanding. He was super respectful. We had a great conversation afterwards. Absolutely love those guys. That was really a cool experience, just for the simple fact that, you know, I don't really, I don't believe everything I see on TV. My husband and I are really big on researching everything. We take everything with a grain of salt. And that goes for all media, not just CNN or MSNBC, but Fox, everything, you know. We really do our research, make sure, you know, we know what we're talking about, because how can you have a good conversation with someone, an open conversation, if you don't know what you're talking about? So, yeah, those guys really they were really cool guys, and they asked some really great questions. Now, naturally, I knew that some stuff was probably going to get a little distorted out of the probably 6 or 7 questions that I was asked. My response to one of those, or well, no, I guess it was 2 of those questions were actually put into the segment on CNN, which is cool. You know, I stand by what I said. I wish they would have shown more, because I feel like how I personally feel is an important message, but I get why they wouldn't put that on a headline that's, you know, pretty much calling us all idiots. That's neither here nor there. So as the day went on, you know, we set up shop. It was a really, really great atmosphere. You know, on Friday, they were having a rally up the street from us, and you know, there's rumors of, oh my gosh, you know, there's going to be all these protests, all this violence, all this, you know, and I don't really know that I was scared per se. Well, no, I guess I really wasn't, because, you know, I live in a state that we are constitutional open carry, so, you know, we're all trained. We all know how to use our Second Amendment right. Let's just say that. So, you know, that kind of helps feel a lot safer in situations that you feel like, oh no, there could possibly be something that, you know, could go wrong. But it didn't. And I'm so incredibly proud of all Oklahomans for that. You know, I haven't really watched a whole lot on the news as far as what they were reporting. I would hear snippets from people that would, you know, that we were sitting around would say, you know, they reported this or they reported that, and, you know, most of it wasn't true or extremely distorted. We'll say it was really distorted. So Friday night, we were up until about 2, and it's pretty peaceful. I mean, we had people driving by trying to, you know, agitate and, you know, not, you know, just kind of piss people off, I guess. Yeah, we'll say that. Again, I apologize. I'm very tired. But it was pretty uneventful. So the next morning was Saturday, the day of the rally, and, you know, woke up, high energy, you know, very crowded. It was very crowded. everybody's pumped. The energy was awesome. The energy was awesome. It was like being at a giant tailgate party is the best I can say. Everybody, it was almost like you didn't meet a stranger, It didn't matter what you looked like. It didn't matter how you identified or anything, you see a lot on the news about what a typical Trump supporter looks like, and I am here to tell you firsthand, it's a bunch of malarkey. I am somebody who does not believe the news, and I expected to see, different races, different creeds, different sexual orientations, just people from all different walks of life there. But even I was blown away with how many different people were there. And I personally think that's saying something, because I tend to think more positively. Sometimes I can be annoyingly positive, I think, but it was awesome, man. It was really awesome. So we lined up and we got in line and waited for the gates to open. It was very hot. It was very muggy. Ooh, boy, was it muggy. And it was very cloudy. And in all that excitement, you forget to put on sunblock. So, I have some pretty gnarly, I have a really cool tan line once I'm not red anymore. Once we got through the gates, we were all scanned with a little machine. You look into it and you, I guess it takes your temperature. I'm not really positive what it does, but we went through that and then we walked around and we were probably within the first 500 people in line. And wow, that was an incredible feeling, to know that, like, because you go there thinking like, oh crap, I hope we get there. Are we going to be able to get in this venue? There's all these people that are planning on coming, and which they did, and we'll get to that in a second. And, yeah, so you don't know what to expect. So to be that close and, to the reality to set in that I am going to be front and center to see the President of the United States of America, that's a really surreal feeling. And yeah, so I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Sorry, my mind's all jumbled, but no, I'll get that later. We'll keep on with this. Okay, so we get into the rally, and they were doing it kind of in a process where they would let one row in, clean everything down, let the next row in, clean everything down, so as far as safety precautions, as cleanliness, and, they, in my personal opinion, I think they did an excellent job with that. As soon as we got through the doors, they were handing out hand sanitizers, masks. They were, in my opinion, the bathrooms stayed pretty clean, which is saying a lot for an arena, and we got our seats, it was so good. It was so air conditioned in there. Whew, boy. But I will say that going with two teenage boys in the hot heat was not satisfying as far as the smells go. But that's neither here nor there. That's just an interesting fact. I didn't smell great either. Wow, too much information. Yeah, sorry. Anyways, so we got in, and you start to recognize people. You see these people walking back and forth. You create these friendships with people, and I think it's because you're all there for a common reason. So it was an incredible feeling of unity, and it was a really positive environment. And anybody that knows me knows that I am always the person that's like, well, try to look at the bright side of things, I guess. So to be in that kind of environment, just especially in the country's climate right now, was kind of a breath of fresh air. We finally got seated. We were probably in our seats about 3 o'clock. I had noticed that, the stadium was starting to get pretty full, and about 5:30, I think it was, I had went outside, we'll say to get a breath of fresh air, and when I went outside, I noticed that there was still a line of a lot of people, so I actually went back in after that, and I told my husband, I said, man, this place really is going to be packed by the time 7 o'clock rolls around, because there is still a line of people. And we waited outside outside of the BOK from 10. Yeah, 10 is when they let us in until we got in it. I think we finally got to go through the doors around 2:30, and we were seated and kind of in our spots around 3. It's a long time outside. Totally worth it, though. Totally worth it. But, so I'm telling my husband, like, this place is going to be packed, And then around 6:30, there's still the same amount of people in, and I'm like, oh my goodness, what is going on? Like, what, am I missing something here? What's going on here? And then the lady that was sitting in front of me had gotten an alert on her phone that there were protesters blocking the entrance to get into the gate. Well, come to find out, there were tiny pockets of protests around. Nothing that I think really got out of control. What actually happened was the people that had been waiting in line to get in were not able to get in because they had taken the screeners away. So once the screeners for COVID were gone, they would not let anybody in. So I'm not going to put on my tinfoil hat for that. We'll keep that for another day. So just so you guys know, from somebody that was there, you'll see on the news, all news channels, not just CNN, not just MSNBC, Fox was reporting on this too, Wow, everybody really must have been fearful because the stadium is not packed like it's supposed to be, where's everybody at, which is ironic because at the same time, I thought they wanted, I thought everybody was kind of concerned about social distancing, so you would think people would be excited that it wasn't completely filled because, that gives people more room to sit in space. So, whatever, that's talk amongst yourselves with that one. We got to hear some amazing speakers. We got to see the president, and we were so close. It was like, wow, honestly, it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And even if you don't support, or well, I won't say support if you don't like our president. I think that any time that you have the opportunity to meet the president of the United States of America, no matter who it is, I think it's an incredible honor because, that's something that you get to tell your kids, your grandkids. Back in the day, I met whoever, but I was raised a different way, I guess, or a different generation, maybe. I don't know. It's weird to me that that's not something that people want anymore. Yeah, but okay. So, anyways, so the president, in my opinion, gave an awesome speech, high energy. When we left, it was, there were actually, it was pretty smooth. There were protesters across the street, and which they were exercising their right to protest, which everybody in this country has the right to do, and you should support that 100%. Don't care if you don't agree with what they're saying. That is their right. We can't have it both ways. If you don't like what someone's saying and you want them to be silenced, then in turn you are saying that it's okay for someone to silence you, and that doesn't make much sense to me. But again, talk amongst yourselves with that one. So, the rally itself was a lot of really great energy, and just, like I said, I made some amazing friends, and it was kind of like a big family. I got to meet some really amazing people. I was a little bit of a fangirl. Friday night, while we were sitting and waiting, this is going to segue into my next story, by the way. We got to, things were kind of starting to calm down, and I'm sitting at my tent, and I see this guy walking past, and I'm like, God, that guy looks familiar. And I'm like, no, it can't be. Oh my gosh, it is. And I just start screaming. I'm like, Brandon, hey, it's Brandon. And he's like kind of looking around. I'm like, oh my gosh, can I take my picture with you? Like, come on now. I'm 34 years old. Like, get a grip. But so I got to meet Brandon Straka. He is the founder of the Walk Away project. If you guys don't know who he is, on both sides of the party, which I don't know how many people even really watch this. If you don't know who he is, I highly suggest that you look into him, especially my friends in Baltimore. I encourage you to look up a YouTube video with him. Just Google his name, I guess, in Baltimore, and maybe it'll pop up on YouTube or something. I don't know, or somebody can post in the comments if they can find it. But he does a lot of great stuff, so I got my picture taken with him. Well, not thinking, again, like I mentioned earlier, wasn't really thinking about the fact that people are going to find out that I support Trump. Holy crap. Didn't think about that again. But you get caught up in the excitement, so I'm like, oh, I'm going to post this on Instagram because I'm starstruck. I'm like, this guy is awesome, which is such a sweetheart. Oh my gosh. So I posted that, and I was like, starting to get likes or whatever. I don't have a very large Instagram following, an even larger one now. Ooh. Or smaller, an even smaller one now. I'll get to that in a minute. So I posted that. I was getting likes, and I'm like, well, not a lot of people know. Well, yeah, a lot of people did know. So that was probably when the emotional roller coaster part of my Trump rally experience started. Ooh. So I posted that, and I, got some likes, and then I'm like, okay, again, not thinking. I got the opportunity to be interviewed by One America News. Chanel Ryan actually interviewed me, and I just adore her. And again, with my excitement, a friend of mine was there that I ran into, that I've known for years. I absolutely adore her, Miss Stephanie Miller. I love you. And she's also an author, writes amazing books. You guys should check them out. But she was walking by and happened to catch a picture of us talking to Chanel, and so I posted that on there. Well, whew, I pissed some people off. I got a message. Well, first I got some comments like, "Are you at the Trump rally? Like, where are you? What are you doing?" Some people that I've known for a very long time. Actually, one of them was one of my best friends growing up. Yeah. Thick as thieves growing up. Sorry. I'll keep that part short because I could go on a lot about that. You always hear stories of people that will just excommunicate from family because they don't have the same views. And up until this weekend, I really can't say that I had ever really experienced that. Maybe a little bit. I had some really, really close friends from college that won't really have anything to do with me, because not just my political beliefs, but my beliefs on some other stuff, I guess. Actually, to be honest with you, I'm not really even sure. Because like I said before, I'm not really vocal about this kind of stuff. So I'm not completely positive why they stopped liking me. Or not liking me, I say, but, acted weird about, I don't know, whatever. That's beside the point. Yeah, so I'm getting off on a tangent. So I start getting these messages, and people are messaging me and telling me they've seen me on the news, and that is when I think was the first time I thought, oh crap. Okay, people are actually seeing this stuff, and okay, well, maybe it won't be that bad. Well, it was. I've had people message me on Facebook and Twitter that have seen me in the CNN interviews, and I mean, these people really, okay, I'll give you guys this, how hard is it to search my name on Facebook and find me. Probably not very hard. There's not a ton of dollies, and there's really not a ton of dollies with bright pink hair. So I guess it wouldn't be that hard to find me on either one of those platforms. I have a Twitter, I think, but I have no idea how to use it. I'm trying, but I'm just, when it comes to technology, not great at it. So, I started getting these messages from people that I had no idea who they were. And you know how the messages go in a little spam thing, and I'm like, wow, what are all these? So I open it, and, I had a guy, well, I won't get into too many details. I had some people with some not great things to say. And then I had some people that, I want, one in particular. He's from Sweden, and, he had messaged me this big long thing, and, we started to have a conversation, and I genuinely was curious about what he had to say, what his questions were, what his thoughts were. So we chatted for a little bit. I hope to chat to him more soon. There's a 6-hour time difference, I believe, between us, so hopefully we can continue that conversation. But I also got a message from a friend of mine that I went to elementary school, middle school, high school with. We were in drama together, and I'll be completely honest, he was the last person in the world that would have made the most impact on me. So, Chris, thank you. If you watch this, your words really, man, you really turned my personal feelings yesterday around. You were the rainbow, we'll say rainbow, the rainbow after the storm for me emotionally. He had messaged me and said that he saw me on CNN, and I had jokingly said, you saw me on CNN and you haven't befriended me yet? What? And he replied, here, I'll read it to you, because it was awesome. It made me start crying. He said, let's see, where are you, Chris? He said, political views don't make friendships. I have known you almost 25 years, and you have always been beautiful inside and out. Hate Trump, love you. And I told him, you have no idea how much I needed to hear that. And he said, you're such a kind soul, and I love anyone who is passionate about their views. And wow, that, man, shame on me for thinking for doing exactly what people do to me. Wow, shame on me. So I apologize, Chris, because you made such a difference to me yesterday, and I really appreciate you, and I love you, and yeah, but he really was the last person that I would have expected to hear those kind and accepting words from. And I will say this too, I have gotten a lot of negative, but I've also gotten a lot of people that have been super supportive and, have told me that they love and support me and know who I am as a person and would never let politics get in the way of our friendship. And that made me stop and think, man, who is brainwashing us all to think that we can't, have friendships with one another because we have different views? That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Somebody had said, what good is, if we all just hung out with people that thought like us and acted like us, what fun would life be? That would be boring, and I absolutely agree. And I have 7 kids and a very active household. I don't like boring. Boring is boring. I love chaos. I love the uncertainty of chaos. And, you know, from having 7 kids, you realize very quickly that nobody has the same personality. So you're never going to have, if you keep your friendships and your groups all the same, you're very limited. You're very limited on who you can hang out with, and who's going to be in your small circle, So that was a really cool experience. I also got some emails from friends on Facebook that, obviously I'm not going to say their names or anything like that, but were messaging me and telling me that they applauded me, and I'm like, you applaud me? Like, I didn't do anything special. But then, they're kind of in the same situation I was, looking like I do, and kind of growing up with a generation that tends to typically lean left. You create these friendships with people that look like you, and you're into the same things, whether it be art or music or, body modifications, whatever it may be. And you become terrified, you're like, you can't be open about how you feel about certain things because you're terrified of people, calling you a racist or calling you a hateful person or just saying absolutely horrid things about you, and that sucks. That really sucks. And that was eye-opening too, because man, what happened that has made us so fearful to stand up for what we believe in, why have we been bullied? And I'm not just talking about supporting our president, I'm talking about with anything, what has become of us that we cannot be accepting of other people, whether it be their faith, their lack of, what they eat, if they want to eat meat, if they don't want to eat meat. Honestly, pardon my language, but who gives a shit? Seriously, you respect me, I respect you, and let's move on with the day, let's watch some crappy reality TV show and just be friends. And, we don't have to talk about politics. We don't have to talk about, why meat is bad for me, or, why I think Kinder sucks. We don't have to discuss that kind of stuff. And if we do, why can't it just be a cool conversation, it doesn't have to be an argument. I understand that politics is an emotional thing. It absolutely is. I mean, it's an emotional thing, but the problem starts when you shut down and put up these walls that you can't feel like you can talk to anyone that doesn't have the same views as you, because you get so upset about it. And I don't know, that just seems really screwed up. It seems really screwed up. We all want change, but in order to have change, we have to be open-minded. if we're open-minded, you know, you can think more logically, in my opinion. When you can have open conversations and you're willing to listen and not fight and not let emotions get too much into it, you know, you might be able to, there's certainly things that I am not going to sit here and say that I know everything about, because there's not. And there's some things that I may be wrong on, and I may not have the right information or may not be looking at the right sources, you know, but a way to get through to me is not to be hateful and nasty and yelling. Like, you try, when you yell at someone and you're angry with someone all the time, you know, I can tell you from experience, like, my 13-year-old boys don't listen to me. They laugh at me when I yell, because they're so used to it. I don't scream. I talk loudly. I'm very enthusiastic when I speak with them. We'll say that. But when I talk to them like human beings, they listen and they do what I ask them to do. Most of the time. Okay, maybe 50% of the time, but that's better than 0% of the time, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah. You know, I had this whole plan of what I was going to say and what I wanted to say and what I wanted to touch base on and, you know, give my experience and kind of tell everyone what it was like to be there, the energy and stuff. But I'm going to say that the most important part of this, for me, obviously getting to see the leader of our free country, that was obviously such an honor. It was such a cool, man, it was so cool. It was so cool, like, you know, and it was just really cool. But to see the negatives, to have people that I have known since before I was 6 foot tall, you know, for practically 2/3 of my life, completely cut ties with me, man, that sucks, like, you know, but it was like, once I got over that and I realized that, well, you know, the Band-Aid's been ripped off, you know, now I guess I start healing and, you start healing, and then it's like, almost like this burden has been lifted off your shoulders, you know, you don't have to hide anymore, you don't have to pretend to be something that you're not anymore. That's a really cool feeling. It is. And to also know that, you know what, there's going to be people out there that are going to do to you the very thing that they say that they hate about people. You know, they're going to call you the most horrible things. They're going to say the most horrible things about you because of your beliefs. But then in the same hand, they're going to talk about how intolerant people are. And, you know, love can unite us all. Love can unite us all. Respect can unite us all. Respect, that's, and all the interviews that I did, that was my biggest thing. That was my absolute biggest thing, is that we have this thought of like, what happened to respecting one another and not judging people for their beliefs and, whether it be religion or sexual orientation or whatever it is, what it's your life, you have every right to believe what you believe, just as I do. And that is, to me, that's the most amazing thing about being an American, is the having the opportunity to be able to express how we feel without persecution, and people's hate and intolerance is destroying that, is destroying the very thing so many people have fought so hard for, you know, um, and it's heartbreaking. It really is. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And, I told myself that I do not care the negative things that people are going to say to me and the names that I'm going to be called, and because I know it's going to happen, and it already has happened, and I'm sure it's going to continue to happen. And that's okay, because these people don't know me. The people that know me have expressed how they feel about me and their support for me, even though we have different views, and that's amazing. And that outweighs any negative thing someone would have to say to me. But I can only say, for anyone that has something negative to say and thinks that I am